Thanks for tuning in, everybody. My name is Noah, and you're watching Robin's Sawmill and Outdoors. The snow, as you can see, is finally gone. Let me get out of the sun. It's about 45-50 degrees right now. I've got a little bit of time. One project that I wanted to do, I could not because it's still dirty, and actually it's still pretty muddy. Well, the snow just melted. I mean, literally, this has only been, all this right here was snow and ice. You can still see some back there 2 days ago. But today, what I want to do is, I want to find out, let me phrase it, I want to figure out for myself how much, like if I want to scale some logs, if I want to look at a tree and measure it, how much is a tree worth? Obviously, I know what my area pays for saw logs, and every area is different. So I want to find out, especially for a red oak. White oak is a little different, but for red oak, would it be better for me to take it to the mill or cut it up for firewood? So let me show you what I have so far. I've had these red oak trees pushed down in a little over a year, so they've been laying here for about 13-14 months. No, they are not seasoned. They're dead, but they are not seasoned, not even close. I've been cutting some rounds here and there, but what I want to do is, I think every 12 foot I will be using a Scribner scale, because this is what my log buyer in this area uses. So every 12 feet, because I'd like to take 12-foot sections, so the longer the sections, the better the pay. Obviously, these are not good saw logs. This is pulpwood, very knotty. But just for personal reference, or for you guys, if you were to measure, you know, I think this looks to be about, well, here, let's come over to the edge here. I've got my tape measure with me. So on the butt end, they are this one is right at 12 inches, and this one is 13 inches. But you know, you have to measure from the top end or the small end. So every 12 feet, I will measure it out. And once I cut it, I want to keep track and see how many board feet it would take to make a cord of firewood. Or maybe not a full cord. If I can keep up with, you know, a quarter of a cord. Pretty much see how many cubic feet I can come up with and go from there. So as of right now, I have my Stihl MS270 gassed up, oiled up, chain tightened, brand new jug of oil since I was out last time. Let's crank it up, and I will start marking it from that end, and then once we get to 12 foot, I will measure it again. Let's see what we can do here. And for you guys not in the sun, So 12 feet makes 9 16-inch rounds. I'm gonna go ahead and use the tractor forks, pick up on that side and cut off the rest of this. I could barely pick up these 2 logs, but it is off the ground. So I'm gonna go ahead and start bucking them up. All right, 2 logs that are 12 foot have been cut, and let's see what the dimension is now on the small end. 12 inches and 11 inches. So down by 1 inch. So there's not a lot of taper. I think this would have been a decent saw log, but I've got plenty of red oak to saw. I think firewood would be better. So with those dimensions, got the log volume calculator, diameter, so we're going to use the small end. So this one right here was 12 inches. Feet, it was 12 feet long. If you were to sell it, you'd want, 12 foot 4, 12 foot 6. And we are using Scribner calculate now. That is, I don't know if you can see, 60 board feet in that first log and 11 inches 12. The second log is 50 board feet. So as you can see right here, 12 inches diameter, 11 inches, both 12 feet. So 2 logs is 110 board feet. If this was number 1, obviously it's not. I'm not going to go by, the premium or whatever you want to call that, veneer grade. But number 1, so number 1 grade red oak in this area goes for about 35 cents a board foot. So 110 board feet. Let's do the calculation here. 110 times 0.35, it's $38.50, not including the time to take it down there, which is, it's only like 10 miles away. So it's $38.50 for these 2 logs. Now, how much firewood do you think these 2 logs would bring? Put it down in the comments, and what I will do is I'm going to split it. Probably not today. I'm going to split it when all this dries up and I can get my splitter from down there without making a huge mud hole. I'm going to keep these separate. 110 board feet for 2 logs. I'm going to split it and see how many cubic feet that is. And around here, if you buy by the bulk, you're looking at $300 divided by 128 cubic feet, $2.35 per cubic foot of firewood. All right, you guys put it down in the description. Put it down in the comments, not a description, in the comments. How many board feet, how many cubic feet or how much firewood do you think this is? Again, 110 Scribner board feet, 2 12-foot logs, 11 and 12 inches in diameter on the small end. And once I split it up, and I will show you guys and see which way is better. So I have 110 board feet Scribner scale red oak rounds. They are 10, 11, and 12 inches. And I'm going to split it and see how many cubic feet that is. All right, now where the pile was of those red oak rounds, the 12-inch, and they're in a basket. So let me show you the measurements. So this right here, the measurement from inside the IBC is 46 inches. You can see. And the height is 31 inches. And the length, obviously, 16 inches. So the measurements are 3.83 feet. That's the cross. Times 2.58 feet height times 1.33, 16 inches equals 13.14 cubic feet. And since I have 2 rows times 2 equals 26.3, so 26.28. So let's say 26 cubic feet. 128 divided by 26. That is 1/5 of a cord, or 2.35. That's how much it costs per cubic foot times 26. This comes out to $61.10, give or take a few cents. So let's say $61 for this load, or I should say for this 110 board feet versus $38. So nearly double the amount, obviously double the time. Is it worth it? You know, is it worth taking logs to the mill versus splitting it for firewood? I have a home grade splitter that is pretty slow. I mean, it's very slow. It's like 13-second cycle time, and it takes me approximately 1 hour to split a face cord or a third of a cord of firewood. And this so far took me 45 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes, and probably another 15-20 minutes to cut up the round. So you're looking at 1 hour of work. That's including stacking, obviously. 1 hour of work, and it's $61.10 worth in firewood. However, if I was to take those logs, that was 110 board feet, Scribner scale. The reason we're using Scribner scale is because that's what my logger in this area, not logger, but the log seller uses. And to take those logs, it was going to be $38 and I want to say 50 cents, 60 cents. I don't quite remember. But it's about 35 cents a board foot. So 110 times 35 cents is whatever that is, $38. Granted, I'm not going to take just 2 logs. I can fit 17 or 18 logs weight-wise on my dump trailer. And based off of that, that would be about $380 worth of logs if I take it to the mill. Now, those would have to be, you know, butt logs. When I say butt logs, if you get this tree, maybe first log or 2 would be number 1 or number 2 grade. I think I calculated based off of number 2, not number 1. Pretty much lower scale. And then everything else would have to be firewood. So if I was to log or, you know, cut down a bunch of trees, anything over 12 inches, the butt logs, obviously, if I have at least 15, 18 logs, 12-foot diameter, 12-foot length, 12-inch diameter, I would take it to the mill because it would take me no time to cut them in length and load them in the dump trailer with my tractor. And the buyer is 7 or 8 miles from here, so 15 minutes there, gets scaled in and come back. So in about the time that would take me to go there and back, and probably load it would be the, within an hour I can probably, I can't say that, I really don't know. But I don't think it'll take that long to load the dump trailer, 15 logs with a grapple, and then I would say 45 minutes to an hour per load to go there and back, and that's $380 some for that load. So you tell me, is it worth it? Is it worth splitting firewood instead of taking it to the mill or to the log buyer if you have one close by? For red oak here, they're paying 30 to 35 cents a board foot. I think it's averaging 35 cents a board foot, versus splitting of firewood and getting 50 or about 60 cents a board foot. You let me know. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. Help me grow, guys. And I will see you on the next one.